right, let's get this party started, folks. Dustin Harris hanging out with you, another mini-sode for you. I want to share with you a couple emails that I received this last week, and these are not unusual emails. These are emails that I have received on a regular basis, and I'm sure you do as well. By the way, new boom for my mic. We're getting fancy around here, folks, getting fancy. So I first want to remind you we are sponsored by Anow Software. Folks, Anow is spelled A-N-O-W. You can go to anow.com/coach, and you can learn more about Anow Software. What is Anow Software? Folks, Anow is the ability to be able to manage your appraisal office. Check them out right now. Again, anow.com/coach. I'll tell you more about them in just a few minutes. Let me read to you an email that I received. Well, I actually received two emails this last week, one from Ashley and one from Ian. I'm not going to read their last names because I did not get permission to share on the air with them this information, but I will tell you Ian has a very prominent appraiser name. I thought it was from a big name in the appraisal profession, and learned that after reading through the email that probably not. He probably has no idea that he has a twin brother out there that is very prominent in this industry. Ian says this: I've been reading your blog, and I appreciate the information I'm finding out here. I've always wanted to be a real estate appraiser, but as I have read about the industry, it seems that it might not be feasible. It's a very common story, folks. I can find plenty of places offering courses in real estate appraising, but the 2,000-hour apprenticeship seems to be a catch-22. Is the industry still inaccessible to a new person? Is it possible to get these 2,000 hours of supervision, or are all these schools just looking to make a quick buck at the expense of students who will never be able to get their required hours? Any advice that you have would be helpful. Again, folks, I received an almost identical email from Ashley just a day prior to this one. And so this is a pretty standard thing. Lots of questions from individuals who want to become real estate appraisers. I'll tell you, when I deal out there with others in this profession, I often see people say to me that there's just not people wanting to get into this industry, that there's not enough money to be made, and so there's just not the applicants. Folks, I do not believe that for 1 second, and here's why. The people that approach me wanting to be an apprentice has not diminished one iota in the last 4 to 5 years, not one bit. In fact, I would say I probably receive more inquiries now. Now, some of that has to do with the fact that I'm a prominent name out there in the appraisal profession. I've got a blog, I've got a podcast, those kind of things, and people find me that way. That being said, I can tell you that even in the local market, people who find me based on my firm and not necessarily my consulting side of things, again, has not diminished one iota. I still get plenty of people that want to become a real estate appraiser. And I'll tell you, I, for one, want to train real estate appraisers. There is a problem, though. And the problem is not individuals not wanting to get into this business. The problem, in my opinion, is that there are appraisers who will not hire because it's not financially feasible for them to do so. Okay, I want to get into that as we get into the show here. So let's set this up. AQB, the Appraiser Qualification Board, is the one that sets the standards for becoming a real estate appraiser. They have made it very, very difficult over the last couple of years to get into this, and not necessarily just to get into it as a real estate appraiser, but in my mind, it's more difficult as an appraiser business owner to hire. And here's what I find happening. First of all, the college degree requirement. Now, there's a lot of controversy out there, and we've done shows on the college degree, okay? You know where I stand on that. The thousands of hours, as Ian pointed out, okay? The bigger problem is the mentorship, okay? Ian's question is, can you get those hours in other ways? And some states do allow that, okay? Some states do allow alternatives to the typical mentorship, mentoree type of a relationship. That being said, most states just follow the AQB as far as what's required to get into that, and consequently, what we find is it's very challenging for an employer. Again, I have a plethora of applicants come into my office on a regular basis. I really have my pick of individuals that I could and would hire as an appraiser employer and a trainer. I don't mind training at all. I think it's great. Here's the problem. Financially, it's not feasible for me, and that has nothing to do with the AQB. Okay? Ian, Ashley, that has to do with clients. That has to do with lending requirements. That has to do with, and I'm not talking Fannie Mae here. I'm not talking Freddie Mac here. I'm not talking, others. FHA, yes, I'm talking here. VA, yes. They both have this stipulation. And I've talked about it before, folks. I've talked about it on my blog. I've talked about it here on the podcast, but I'm just going to reiterate. Here's the issue. You take away this one thing. Now, I'm not saying there's not other things we can deal with and should deal with, okay? But you take away this one thing, and I guarantee the floodgates would open up again. Everybody is saying that we've got a shortage of appraisers. Again, I don't know whether I believe that or not. I assume in certain areas we might have a shortage of appraisers, okay? Fannie Mae says we've had 40,000 appraisers before the change, and there's still about 40,000 active appraisers. Okay, I believe them. I think their numbers don't lie. I do think that there is a shortage of appraisers in some areas. Colorado, hello. Oregon, hello. Washington, hello. I know you guys. I see you guys. There's other areas as well that are really struggling finding enough appraisers to get the work done. Okay? I don't think there's an appraiser shortage in my area. I don't think there's an appraiser shortage in a lot of areas. What I think there is a shortage of is the willingness or the ability financially for a real estate appraiser business owner like myself to bring on trainees. Folks, I'm telling you, I have enough business in my office currently that I would hire at least one trainee right away, and probably within 3 or 4 months of that, hire an additional trainee. I would do it. Here's the problem. It takes a very long time, as you know, to get someone from point A to point B. Or really, a better analogy is from point A to point Z. There's a lot of letters in between there. Okay, a lot of different milestones that have got to be reached by each of these trainees before they're really fully ready to be a real estate appraiser, or that they're fully licensed or certified, or have their 5 years experience that most AMCs and other lending institutions, or I shouldn't say other lending institutions, period, require in order for an appraiser to go out and do inspections and do write-ups and that kind of a thing. Here's the thing. We've got to look at this from a business perspective. We've got to look at this because the bottom line is we are not in this business for charity. Okay? I think that's pretty straightforward. We are in this business as a business. We're in this business to make money. And if it's not financially feasible for me to hire, unless I have other incentive to do so, such as it's my son, it's my nephew, it's my cousin, it's my wife, if I don't have another incentive to hire that person, sorry folks, this isn't altruistic. I'm not doing this for a charity. I'm running a business, and I've got to find financial incentive to do so. Here's the financial incentive. Here it is. Ready? If I can train somebody on doing appraisal inspections, okay? Now, I know there's going to be some of you clamoring all over the comment section saying, well, Dustin, there's liability in that. You can't just train somebody overnight and expect them to do inspections. I never said anything about overnight, okay? But would you agree with me that it does not take as long to train somebody on how to do a thorough inspection, how to measure, how to look for things like mold or structural issues, some of these things that are more than just walking through a house, okay? I'm not saying you throw somebody out into the fray and say, good luck, buddy, here's your disto, here's your tablet computer, figure it out. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying it's far less time intensive to train someone well, train someone who is qualified to do an inspection than it would be to train somebody, say, on choosing comps, making and supporting adjustments, writing reconciliation, these types of things that are very, very important to the real estate credibility, the appraisal credibility, okay? It takes much longer, I would say years, to train somebody on the latter. It would take months to train somebody well on the former, and that is inspections. If I can train appraisers, and within 3 months, let's arbitrarily throw that number out there, if I could train somebody in 3 months, 90 days, who I then feel comfortable accepting full liability, okay? Names on the report, my signature, we're very clear, USPAP taken care of, state laws taken care of, okay? Not talking about sneaking behind the bushes here. I know appraisers that do that. I do not suggest it, okay? In fact, I highly recommend you don't do that. I'm talking about very above board, sending a trainee out to do an inspection. If I could do that, I could very easily financially be advanced by that type of a situation. The problem is this: I can't do so if I'm only doing lending or primarily lending type work. Most of the clients do not allow it. Most of the lenders do not allow it. Now, there's others that, Red Sky, trainees are fine. Thank you, Red Sky. I wish others would follow suit. I've heard that things are changing. I hope that's the case. I've also heard that the 4-year degree is also changing. Again, hope that's the case. I know I made a lot of enemies right there. The point is this, folks. As an employer, and I'm going to get to your question, Ian, okay, and Ashley. In other words, I want to talk about an employer situation first, and then I want to talk about the employee situation, okay? As an employer, I have to have a financial incentive in order to hire you as a trainee. Okay. The financial incentive for me is very easy. If I can train you in 3 months and you can start doing inspections in areas that I'm competent in, but I can go one way and you can go the other way that day, and we can get 4 inspections in instead of 2, that to me is an incentive worth looking at. Right now, that's not the case. So Ian, now let's go to your question. Okay. Is it possible to get into this profession? Ashley, Ian, and the plethora of other appraisers or want to be appraisers that email me on a constant basis, let me just say to you this, okay? Very difficult right now. Here's why. Your employer, your potential mentor, does not have typically a financial incentive to do so unless your potential employer is primarily non-lender work. You're going to have a very difficult time convincing that person that it's financially feasible. And remember, they're in this for a business, financially feasible for them to hire you. Have heart, though. I have some suggestions. As we come back from the break, I'm going to give some suggestions to Ashley, to Ian, and the like, and let you know that it is very possible, probable even, to become a real estate appraiser, even in the current environment. Okay, hang on tight. First, I want to remind you we are sponsored by ANow Software. ANow Software is the software that I use in my appraisal office. It manages my appraisal office, but it's so much more than a management. It's also analytics. It allows me as a business owner to know, we're talking about financials today, right? We're talking about the fact that we are in this for a business, okay? I want to know how I'm doing as a business. And because I want to know that, I want to dig into the numbers. Now, I'm not a numbers man. I've admitted that before. I'll admit it today. I get drowned. I drowned in numbers. I didn't like statistics in school. I didn't do well in math, okay? But as a business owner, numbers mean things to me. And I can see beyond the numbers into what those actually mean for me as a business owner. ANow allows me to do that very, very quickly. Folks, if you've not taken their demo, please do so. Check out what I've been talking about for over a year now. Check out ANow Software. You can go to anow.com/coach, anow.com/coach for more information. And by the way, we have a new sponsor here today, very related, surprisingly, to what we're talking about today. It's called InstaCollege. InstaCollege is not your typical online college, okay? You've got University of Phoenix out there. You've got Stephen Henniger. You've got, these other colleges out there that make it very easy for working adults to get their education. How would you like to cut, 3 years and 11 months off of your 4-year degree? That's right. You can get your degree in 1 month with InstaCollege. Here's what you do. You simply send in the money. The money varies. Sometimes it's $495. Sometimes they've got deals. You can get in for $295, $395, and they send you a college degree. It's awesome. InstaCollege allows you to get a college degree without learning anything. If you want to become a real estate appraiser and you don't have that 4-year degree, folks, InstaCollege is the way to go. You simply put in your application, you simply give them your name, you give them a picture, you pay your money, and the next thing you know, the college degree shows up in the mail. It is that simple. And it is that illegal, I should tell you. Don't let college be a bother. Get your 4-year degree just by adding water. All right, folks, welcome back. We're talking today about hiring appraisers and whether or not it's possible for people like Ian and Ashley and other people that email me to get into this business. I want to give you, just as we close up today, I want to give you a few ideas, okay? If you are looking into this business, let me tell you, this is a common thing that I find. People learn about the appraisal business. They think, that's a pretty good gig. I want to do that. Okay, so they start to look into it and they realize, number one, I've got to have a 4-year degree. Right now, there's no way around that. Okay, there really isn't. You can become a trainee forever. You can get your 2-year degree and be a licensee. But if you want to be a certified licensed appraiser, certified residential appraiser, you've got to have a 4-year degree. I do think that's changing. I do think that we're going to see a change in that in the next couple of years, if not the next year. Okay, but we'll just go with status quo. As of this recording, okay, that is not a possibility. So, 4-year degree, unless you're going to go to Insta College, which don't, by the way, you got to do it. Okay, that's just part of the deal. So let's say that you are okay with that. You've got either have your 4-year degree or you're willing to get your 4-year degree. Okay, that aside, let me tell you this: if you are looking to get into this, the next biggest, and as Ian pointed out, he said, but the 2,000-hour apprenticeship seems to be the catch-22. Yes, Ian, you're right. That's what most individuals run into. Hey, I can get my 4-year degree. Hey, I'm willing to put in whatever I need to put in to become a real estate appraiser, but I can't find anybody to mentor me. Why? Again, go back to the first part of the show. It's not financially feasible for a business owner to do so. So here's the deal. Here's my suggestion. Now, some of you are going to walk, okay? Some of you are going to listen to this and say, well, screw you, Dustin. I'm not willing to do that. Fine. Guess what? You know what? It's up to you. Do you really want to become a real estate appraiser? I'm going to tell you how to become one. You ready for this? First of all, you need to start looking at this business through your potential employer's eyes. Now, that's hard to do. The mindset of an employer and the mindset of an employee are very, very different. Okay, they really are. And it doesn't matter how much I try to pound into my employees to start thinking like a business owner. Some people just can't do it. They don't get it. They're here for their paycheck. Thank you, ma'am. I'm moving on. Okay. Try as a potential trainee to look at this through a business owner's eyes. What financial, and I'm going to stress the word financial over and over and over again today. What financial advantage does hiring you give your potential employer? Okay, because I can tell you right now, as an employer, a potential employer, as a potential mentor to you, I am going to start looking this through dollars and cents. And it doesn't make sense for me to hire you if I can't send you out on inspections. Why should I pay you a salary or a commission split if I'm not going to get back what I'm putting into it? I would not, unless I had some other incentive. Again, maybe it's family, maybe it's a friend, maybe I'm just altruistic at heart, but I'm telling you that doesn't go very far in this business because, hey, we got to make a living, right? Okay, Ian. Okay, Ashley, look at this through an employer's eyes. First of all, there's liability. If I hire you, I have an increased liability. What can you do? If you can answer these questions I'm about to pose to you, if you can answer these questions for your employer before they even ask them, they may not even ask them out loud, but I promise you they're asking them in their heart. When you sit down with them and say, hey, I want to become a real estate appraiser, bing, 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 these questions are coming up in their head, okay? You answer the questions before they even come up to the employer or before they utter them, if they ever do, which chances are they're not going to. If you can answer these questions, you're going to do much better at the possibility of becoming a real estate appraiser. Here we go. Question number 1. What can you do to lessen the liability of your potential mentor? Okay? I'm not going to give you the answers to these. I'm asking you to answer those questions. Okay? I might give you a few. So, for example, are you willing to sign a non-compete agreement, an NCA? Are you willing to abide by that NCA? Are you a trustworthy person that you're not going to sign on one side and then on the other side you become the competition? I'm telling you, employers, potential employers are thinking about this problem. If I train you in, Bubba, 4 years from now you're going to be my competition. Do I really want this? Okay? If you can put things in place that will guarantee that you're not going to become, or at least lessen the possibility that you're going to become that person's competition, you're going to have a much, much better chance at becoming a real estate appraiser. Okay? Question number 2. What is the financial incentive of hiring you? If you can answer that question for your employer, what financial incentive does my potential employer have by hiring me? Then you'll go far. Let me give you one example. Are you willing to work for free? Did I really say that? I really said that. Okay? Are you willing to work for free? Now, before you freak out and turn off the podcast or skip to the next one, please hear me out. As an employer, I am accepting increased liability to hire you. I am also increasing my chances that financially I will not be paid back for what I'm doing. So you've got to make it worth my while. Okay? Do you expect to go to college for free? Do you expect to be paid to go to college? I mean, it's asinine to even ask the question, right? If you're going to go to college, you're going to pay tuition. And you're going to put in your time, you're going to put in your money, and you're going to be grateful for what you're getting out of it. The training, the degree, the college paper, okay? Why is this any different? If you want a career, if you want to be a real estate appraiser, are you willing to work for free? If you are willing to work for free, I think that you are going to have a much better chance of getting hired. Now I'm going to say something that's even more blasphemous. Ready? Are you willing to pay to work? Are you willing to pay tuition to your potential trainer for the opportunity to be blessed with an increased education? I think if you can answer that question, yes, then you're going to have a much better chance than the 30 applicants that I get. And I'm not even advertising for a trainee, folks. People just approach me and say, please hire me. Please hire me. I want to be an appraiser. 30 a year. Okay. Why should I hire 29 of those who just say, I want to become an appraiser. Please hire me. Please train me. Versus the one that says, guess what? I'm willing to work for free. I'm willing to pay you for the opportunity. I'm willing to sign an NCA. I guarantee I'm going to look more at that person than I am at anybody else. Okay. And finally, and this goes kind of already to the other two, but just to wrap it up, what's in it for your mentor? If you can answer the question, what's in it for them, and you can show them why it's advantageous for them to hire you, I think you're going to have a much, much better time becoming a real estate appraiser. Folks, I want to remind you about the All-Star team. If you want to become a real estate appraiser, a great place to start. Inexpensive, $9.95 a month or $95 a year. Gives you a full 8-page newsletter. I get potential appraisers sign up for it all the time. Okay, they want to start out on the right foot. They want to know how to run an appraisal business before they even have an appraisal business. So I would highly encourage you to become a part of the All-Star team. Just go to my website, theappraisercoach.com, click on memberships, do the drop down to All-Star team, sign up. You get the 8-page color newsletter every month and be a part of my closed and positive and uplifting Facebook group on the internet and get some great interaction with other appraisers. Thanks for joining us today, folks, and good luck out there as you potentially get an opportunity to become a real estate appraiser. It's a great career. I love every minute of it. Hope you do too. We'll catch you next time.